Hello everyone. Welcome back to another Offlane video on the Funny Fucker server. Now, today we're going to be talking a little bit about palettes. And this is going to be a little bit more of an artistic episode. Now, when I say palettes, I mostly mean like block palettes, like colors, how they would work out, things along those lines. Because in most cases, when you build in Minecraft, when you see some of the more experienced builders play in Minecraft, some of the first things that they do is they make a palette. And with that palette, they have a little bit of an idea of what they want to do. Now, one thing I wanted to do today was I wanted to start building, like actually building the afterlife. And that would require us to have a proper palette down. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have seen the afterlife from Cyberpunk 2077. Very likely you haven't. It's not something that you see very often. Unless you've played that game and you are familiar with that game. But a lot of the lighting is very blue. So in this case... Oh, also, we finished this area. All of this has been organized properly. I did this right after I finished the previous video about nostalgia. But yeah, one of the first things I want to do is I'm looking at the photo. And I think it's green lighting here. And we have a frog light farm, so we can always get more of these. And I'm thinking one of the main blocks we're going to use is going to be deep slate. I want the palette to be a bit darker. So if we do deep slate and then, let's see, maybe blackstone? But regardless, one of the main things that has been going on recently, and when I say it's been going on recently, I mean specifically in my personal life, has been, I guess, managing energy and like what I'm doing at that moment. Now, I don't know about you guys. Of course, I do not know you guys personally, unless I do. So there are like pipes here. This kind of gets rounded off in a square way. And then this probably goes more over this way. So I'll fix that in a second. One of the main things I wanted to get in here was... Okay, so this is... I'm looking at a reference photo of the bar. But it has been... One of the main things that's been going on for me has kind of been management of energy. Just kind of in general. And because energy management has been so all over the place, there are points in time where it feels like... Okay, so this is going to be the inner one. And yeah, that's pretty much what it's like here. Except for this. Put some of this away. There we go. But yeah, one of the big things that I've had to deal with recently is energy management. And that is more specifically on very productive days, kind of sitting down and realizing what I should limit myself to and prevent myself from pushing myself too hard. As someone that has been streaming for most of my adult life up until this point, when I get something done, I feel like I have to keep that energy rolling. And I'm not sure if that's a personal thing or if that's like a, oh, I was taught to do this kind of thing. But regardless of what it was, it's caused me to have my worldview kind of changed recently. Because, for example, I mentioned this in some of my personal friend groups when it happened. But I was fortunate enough to get as much as I possibly could get done yesterday. And that was the recording of the previous video yesterday. That being, I got groceries, I got my taxes set out, I got, I recorded this video, or the previous video about nostalgia. I just did like 20 things I would usually do. It would usually take me a week to do. And after I got them done, I was sitting there, I was like, oh, I should probably stream today. But then it kind of hit me. And I was sitting there, I was like, oh man, I really shouldn't. I gotta limit myself to what I do in a single day. Like, before I even had breakfast yesterday, I recorded the yesterday's video. I organized the entire storage system. I sent out my taxes. I organized my desk. I got groceries. Like, all of that before I even had breakfast. And then I had breakfast and it was kind of mid. And then I just chilled for the rest of the day. And it's important to recognize when you're ahead, when you need to stop. Just limiting yourself, preventing yourself from pushing yourself too far. Because with cases like that, I could have kept going. I could have streamed. I could have drawn. I could have gotten more things done. But I decided not to. And because of that, I slept the best I've slept in a while. I slept like 14 hours. Because I didn't push myself. And in today's atmosphere, I'd say, it's really easy to accidentally push yourself too hard. Get yourself to a point where you're like, okay, I'm going to do this, 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 I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm doing this right now. I might as well do this at the same time. And then by the time you're done, you're sitting there and you're suffering. You don't have, like, by the end of the day, you're worn out. And then you spend an entire day resting, and you feel like shit. Trust me, I know the feeling. I've done it so many times. That's why recently, I've been doing less per day, but more overall. Which is a huge thing to be able to do, is limit yourself in that way. Okay, I might make the... I'm gonna see if I can't use copper. Because I don't think we have... any utility blocks that look like it. This kind of looks like a corner. So I'm... Oh, wait, that looks exactly like it. Okay, let's use this. Smooth stone and iron. But yeah. Limiting yourself when you know that you're ahead is a super important skill. I think it's one of the most important skills that I have learned to this date. Because when you step back and you look at how things are kind of going for yourself, a week's time, you might get as much done as someone else would be getting done in a day. Like, it's a difficult back and forth that you have to do. Because, on one hand, you have... Why am I over here? On one hand, you have the feeling that you need to get those done. And societally, you should get those things done. Those are important as fuck for you to get done, so you need to get them done. No matter what. But when it comes to your energy, sometimes you just gotta recognize when you gotta sit down and chill. I saw this idea from Tango earlier in Hermitcraft when I was watching it. I have an idea. But, it's an important skill to learn. Because it sucks. It's something that sucks. I hate doing, like, resting like that. It makes me feel anxious. And I don't like feeling anxious. But sometimes you gotta feel anxious. In order to make yourself feel better overall. Because admittedly, yeah. Pushing yourself is, while it's productive in the moment, it sucks overall. It sucks in the long run. It really does. And it's something I don't wish on anyone, frankly speaking. Because as someone who has had that kind of burnout happen before, it sucks. It's awful. That's why today, oh, I just got that. That's like a fucking, I feel like I just got blinded. Holy shit. You can't see shit here. What the fuck? YouTube's gonna spend the first 5 seconds of the video being like, oh yeah, I think she's good for moderation. And then, like, if someone asks to manually review it, they'd be like, holy shit, dude. What was our decision? But yeah, regardless. Limiting yourself and preventing yourself from going too far with certain things is kind of an important skill to know. As it's kind of an important adult skill to know. Because here's a really good example. A bit of a story time. Back when, around 2 years ago, I just started, on Ashley's. If you don't know her, Ashley Potato Mashley is one of my good friends. But Ashley's Soulcraft SMP. It just started. I was so excited. I was like, this is gonna be like my hermit craft. Because I was inspired. So I pretty much pulled a hermit craft. I went and I spent every single day. If you knew me back then, I streamed every single day for 8 hours, 8 to 12 hours straight. Just building, resource gathering, everything. Did I gain followers during that time? Hell yeah. I gained a lot of followers during that time. Was it worth it though? No, not at all. Frankly, I wouldn't wish that upon anyone ever again. I don't like how this looks. What I'm trying to do here, chat, is in Cyberpunk, there are pipes on the floor. It's like a group of pipes. That's why I have the bamboo. Because it just looks like piping. I might put the copper grates above that. But yeah. I streamed every single day for 6 hours straight. Or 6 to 12 hours straight. And did I get a lot done? Yeah, I got a lot done. But would I ever do it again? No. I think that was one of the worst decisions I've ever made. Admittedly, at the time, I was in between jobs. I was severely depressed. I didn't really have a direction. I was kind of just wandering aimlessly, hoping to find something that would stick. But because I was searching so hard for it, I didn't recognize when something like that was bad for me. I didn't. And frankly speaking, it was a bad thing overall for me. I ended up streaming overall less that year once I did get a job. I was more anxious. I didn't really... After I got a job, I just stopped playing that season of Soulcraft completely. I felt like I couldn't actually contribute. And so after that, it kind of faded out. It was awful. It was a terrible feeling because I felt like I left people behind. Not because of anything, not because of any specifics, but just because I was so out of it. Either way, that time has come and gone. I have grown more as an adult and as a streamer, and generally improved. But I will admit, I do feel bad for myself back then. That's why you need to give yourself a little bit of a break every once in a while, guys. If you are a streamer, or YouTuber, or anyone that makes anything online, my one suggestion, especially if you've been feeling bad about yourself recently, take a little bit of a break today. Maybe instead of recording another take of a YouTube video, you can spend time going to get groceries, and while you're out, also go and do your laundry. Maybe clean your car, take it to a car wash. Something to kind of reset your brain. Because unless you reset it yourself, or a life event resets it for you, pushing yourself isn't going to get you much farther. It's not going to help. The only thing it's going to do is make you more anxious. And I do admit, sometimes you do need to push yourself. Sometimes you have those days where you're like, okay, well now I need to spend the entire day pushing. I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go. That seems like it's one block. I don't like this bamboo, though. That's the only problem I have with this bamboo. I really don't like how it looks. But that's why sometimes you just, if you spend some time, sit at your window for a little bit, take in the outside air, take a fucking breather. God damn. Maybe taking that breather is something that'll help you in the long run. Maybe taking the breather is the thing that'll let you finally figure out how to get around that art block. Maybe taking the breather is the step that you finally need to do in order to confront a difficult emotion you've been dealing with. I'm not saying that you gotta change your entire life. Because, admittedly, that would be kind of mean of me to say. Like, who am I to tell you that? I'm no one. But what I do suggest is to take your emotions into a little bit more of an account. And give yourself a little bit more space. Because you deserve it. There's no one that's going to know you more than you know yourself. At the end of the day. Oh, fuck. Forgot that purpur isn't like... So you have to do it like this. kind of looks like pipes. It's a little bit short to be pipes, though. This also kind of looks like pipes. But yeah, I went on a tangent about giving yourself a break when I should have gone on a tangent about color palettes today. And I apologize. I know when some of y'all were hearing me talk about color palettes, you were excited to hear me spread some wisdom about how I make them. And you know what? Let's do a little crash course for the rest of the video. When I decide to make a palette, more specifically a color palette imitating a game. Of course, I try and stay as loyal to that game as I possibly can. This case being the Afterlife from Cyberpunk 2077. In this case, Cyberpunk has a lot of, well, I need you guys to, like, expect what I'm going to say here. Cyberpunk aspects to it. A lot of industrial stuff to it. A lot of pipes, a lot of, a lot of intricate technology. So when you think of Cyberpunk, you think of course, Cyberpunk 2077, the game. What I'm trying to do first, when I'm referencing an image, is I am trying to I'm trying to make it just, I'm trying to get the shapes down first, and the textures. And right in front of the bar, there is a strip of pipes covered by a thin pane of glass. Which is why I'm looking at this, because this looks like piping. Unfortunately, for me, I only have it in green and yellow. I don't think there's another block that makes it look like piping as much as this does. Maybe if I change it to rethinking voxels. The problem is this is so bright. I gotta cut this down a little bit. Let's try this real quick. That looks a bit better. Plus, in the game, there's a little bit of hatching over it. And then it goes down a little bit, so we'll have like a stair. We'll have like a stair there. But when it comes to color palettes, I got an art degree, or I started an art degree in college a while ago, a couple of years ago. And when I started that art degree, one of the first classes that I took was a class about color. Now, with that class, they taught me specifically how certain interactions would work together. That's going to be for lower down. I don't like that there. Now, there are three different kinds of complementary colors. And I'll have to pull up my color wheel for this. So let's just real quick. We will make a circle. So we will have red, orange, yellow, yellow, green, cyan, blue, purple, magenta, violet, mauve, so like pinks. So we have that there. What I'm looking for is orange, green, and purple. Those three are a triad. They go together. Obviously, orange and green are a little bit closer together, so you would have them closer together here, and then accents of purple throughout that kind of work together. So in this case, we would probably have purple, like, here. That there. And then we would have, like, deep slate tiles in between. Like, when I look at palettes, I'm looking at how close... Like, let's say I'm trying to blend something. Whoa, did that freeze there for a second? Okay, no, it's just it not liking the shaders. So, let's take, for example, I'm going to switch back to BSL. Switch out of those shaders. And we're going to try and... Yeah. We're going to try and blend Blackstone into normal stone. And I'll actually switch back, take shaders off completely. And turn on the gamma override so you guys can see this as clear as possible. So what I'm trying to do, if I'm creating a gradient, I'm trying to create textures that are very obviously close to each other. So obviously those are close in actual texture, but they're a little bit different in shade. So I wouldn't put those right next to each other. I would put tile in between them, because this has some of the dark notes of these lights. Like, this color is very similar to this color. So we're looking at individual pixels. So we have those. From afar, they kind of look similar. And these look similar because they're both deep slate. From here... I would probably get tough. That's my first guess. But if our goal is to just make it lighter overall, probably go for cobbled deep slate. And then deep slate tile. Or polished deep slate. Or probably the other way around. This, then this, and then cobblestone. Or something in between those two. But pretty much what we're doing is we're looking at the individual pixel level to see what the lightest color here. That's very similar to the darkest color there. So it seems like it's a natural progression. Either way, I'm like going all over the place again. So I will stop myself. Right now I'm trying to think of a good palette, because this green may look all right with the green lighting up there, but it didn't look good with the copper in the ground. So maybe we could do something like this, or maybe even because we mentioned it was going to be something on a slab. Maybe we'll have it there. And then there. And then we'll put something in between here. Like maybe finally use these fucking copper trapdoors. Yeah, something like that. Let me make more of these. Only 4 copper trapdoors? Dude, this shit's expensive. I hate trapdoors. You know what? I'm gonna go on that rant. This is gonna be a little bit longer video. I don't care. I hate trapdoors with a passion. On the Funny Fucker server, we have set it up so that trapdoors, whenever we make them, so let's make a spruce trapdoor. It makes 12. So it kind of cuts them in half. This is 4. Either way, I hate how expensive they are. It reminds me of if you try to do anything with... God, I'm trying to think of the wording. It just sucks. It sucks. That's it. It sucks. But what's interesting, though, I want to point this out. As we're making this, you can see that a shape is coming into play. Let's grab this. We're going to do half of that into tiles. And we're going to do this. I usually build with complementary, or with rethinking voxels, because rethinking voxels is one of my favorite shader packs of all time. I love how it looks. I love the colored lights. Makes me so happy. But yeah, as I get a little bit of a palette down, you can see that the shape of the shadow starts changing. Where before, it was going all the way over here and it was a sharp light. Um, what then happens we put the grates over it, and we put these blocks here to cut it off a little bit. Then it becomes a lot more manageable. It stops looking like a nightmare. Nightmare. It stops looking like a nightmare, and it starts looking a lot cleaner. Like, what I want to do here is I want to do... I think what I might want to do here is I might have to change this up a bit. So if I do that, and then I do... this, but then I do this. That's pretty much the same height, you think? Maybe I pull this inwards, and I add a little bit. But regardless, today's project was getting a pallet down. Naturally, I think we killed it. I think we did great. We have a little bit of an idea. Unfortunately, without shaders, it doesn't look good. I might get rid of this purple. I think what I'll do, chat, is I do plan on streaming today. So I will put the link in the description. If you are new to the channel, make sure you give us a follow over on Twitch, where we will be experimenting more about this live and give your suggestions or your grievances. But I think what I will do is I'll try and fuck with this on Twitch instead, because I don't like the green. I don't like how harsh it is, but we're gonna try and see what we can do. Either way, I think that's enough ranting from me today. So I do want to thank you guys very much so for watching. If you enjoyed and you aren't yet followed, it would be greatly appreciated if you did. And by follow, I mean subscribe. Because it helps me out. It lets me know I'm doing the right thing. And I will see you guys again in the next video. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a good one. I'll see you around. Bye-bye!